In this video, I'm going to be showing you some secret developer settings that 99% of players don't really know about at all, and it's going to put you ahead of most players in Transport Fever 2. For example, here's one of them. By default, you're going to be building bridges that are going to say collision error of some kind, and that's obviously not the best, because it's going to mean that you're going to be messing about trying to build something and it's a struggle. Well, this entire motorway or highway here was saying that exact thing, and I managed to get it in using this simple setting that the vast majority of players have disabled. And I'm going to show you how you turn it on today and what the effects of it are. First of all, what is this? Why should you have it? Well, what I'm going to show you means you have a lot more control over bridges and tunnels. And now you can see with this on, bridges are starting to get put in. If I have this setting off, then it does this sort of thing, which is again causing a collision error. But putting this bridge on allows a lot more control. It also means you can have lower bridges as well, and this is really handy when there's a lot of tight spaces, especially in cities where there's a lot of stuff in one place and you're really struggling to fit everything in. This is why it's so essential, and the same can be said for tunnels actually. So with the exact same setting we're about to turn on, it allows you to have a lot more control over tunnels. So the default Transport Fever 2 tunnel, I'm going to start all the way back here because I know I need the distance, and go all the way over here. And then I'm going to press the N key to set the tunnel. And look how much distance it takes to actually make a tunnel. And there's still errors because it's colliding with stuff. So much distance for this tunnel. And this tunnel has to go so deep in the vanilla. Well, actually, using this secret setting, you can make it so tunnels very simply are quite shallow, just like that, with one click. It's so much better like that. It's more of a flat road than a massive steep downhill road going really far underground. You can just have a road going straight under the motorway like that. Or how cool is that? The amount of circumstances these tunnels and bridges are overpowered when building your cities and tracks and infrastructure is so good. Especially if you're crossing over train tracks and stuff. Like by default in vanilla, you might have a track that goes over the road like this. But this isn't inevitably going to cause traffic, obviously, because of the level crossing. If there's a lot of trains going over the place, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. And for that reason, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll make a tunnel. So they grab a road and they put it in, then spam the N key. And then they realize you have to go so deep underground. Like, this is not far enough. You have to go so deep for this to actually go underneath, like just like that. You have to go so far deep into the ground for this to actually work. This is, for example, is a tunnel that I put in vanilla without this enabled. If we delete this and then go to replace, I'll show you the difference. And I'm going to go a lot closer this time with the road towards the train tracks before I start to go underground. Because look at the difference. Before I was going way further underground. Now I'm literally keeping it at the same height as the train tracks pretty much. These roads are not going down. They're going really close to the surface. Like, look at that. Look at the difference. It's so much better having it this way. This is why you need to enable this setting urgently. So now I'm going to show you how to do this. The first thing that you want to do is to close the game, go to your desktop, and now we're going to open the File Explorer. And don't worry, it's not that complicated, just trust the process because it's definitely worth it. Once you've opened your File Explorer, we're going to go ahead and find our Steam user data folder. For me, this is in this PC, Drive D, and then Steam. But for you, it might be in Drive C or Drive E or something else, but it'll be in one of your drives. Once you found the Steam folder, click on user data, then click on the big number here, this is your Steam ID. Then click on the search and type in 1066, Bala Hastings. That's how I remember Transport Fever 2's ID number. Then open the 1066 folder, press local, and it's going to open this folder. And this is all your external stuff for Transport Fever 2 that's affecting the game locally. So this contains a lot of code and also a lot of external non-Steam mods as well if you've got those. It also contains your save folders. So you want to go ahead and manually upload your saves to the internet, Google Drive or whatever, then you can go here, find your saves, and upload it that way. Side note. Anyway, open up the settings.txt. If it doesn't open in Notepad, right click and then open with, and then press on Notepad. Then open it up, and then full screen this. So this is going to pull up the settings that the game is reading off basically. We're going to either scroll down or we're going to Control F and search EXP. Make sure it's set to direction down and press Find Next. And that's going to take us to the experimental settings or the debug mode options. Here's what I have. So I have debug mode set to true. This allows me to speed the game up to 32 times, and I recommend you guys do that too, but I have another video on that. You can also set experimental map sizes to true. But again, I've got another video covering this on my map guide, and this allows you to have double the map size possible in Transport Fever 2. But the one we're looking for here, experimental tunnel and bridge min height. Make sure this is set to true. And to do this, make sure there's no capitals. Replace false with true, and make sure as well there's a comma at the end. That's the crucial thing. There has to be a comma, no space afterwards. Then press Ctrl and S and that'll save, and you can now close this and then go ahead and reopen Transport Fever 2. We've already covered that it can look nicer. Why is this actually important? Well, look at this for example. We've got a track that's coming off a 2-track main line. It's going into a siding, and it's dropping all the stuff off at this cargo hub we've got here. But when the train departs, it's going really slow, and it's also crossing over both tracks. So if you have a commuter train that's coming down the tracks, it's going to go all the way down here, and it's going to get to this signal, and it's going to get stopped, just like this train's got stopped here. And it's going to have to wait for the train to cross over before it can continue on its way. So what we can do instead of this, with this new ability to build tunnels that are a lot more controllable and detailed in where we can actually put them, and they're a lot more tight in where you can put them, as in you have a lot more wiggle room to work with instead of having to go miles underneath the map to get something to work. It's so much better having it this way. It means we can have a tunnel that would go under this track and then come back out on the other side, and it would connect up to this track fine. There wouldn't be an intrusion on the track there. How this works is the min tunnel depth, so that's how much depth there is from the top of the tunnel to wherever is above it. So for example, this track would be the top, and then the tunnel depth would be 2 meters. So obviously 2 meters is a lot better than 12 meters, which is the default. This is what 2 meters looks like in the game, and you can see there's just a lot more ability to control stuff. And here's what that actually looks like side by side. This is the vanilla versus with this setting enabled, and it's just night and day. There's so much difference. It's incredible. And that's what that actually looks like built in. So the trains can pull in from the main line, they can pull straight off and pull into here, but they can also go off this track here on the way out. They're not blocking any tracks. They go under the existing track, come out the other side, and then they would just simply reconnect on this side to the other side. That's how they get across the tracks, and they don't have to go down some stupid massive hill. They're just going straight on the same sort of flat level underneath the track. It's so simple and it's so effective. It's so important to have this enabled. And then obviously just to smooth this off, you would just go with this tool and do that like that, and that looks great. This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the cargo train now taking this route. There's no commuter trains blocked. It's so much better. And this is really just one example. There is hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of versions of things like this in the game that is literally exactly like this, where it's just better off having it with more control. That's why it's worth enabling. I know personally this really helped me out, and if it helped you out, I have lots of videos like this, so make sure to press subscribe because you're going to learn so much on this channel, I guarantee. But okay, now you know how to build compact track setups. How do you actually apply them when you're building your tracks? Well, you're going to need the best cargo method in Transport Fever 2, which is going to cross over also to Transport Fever 3, and that's why you need to watch this video, and that demonstrates the best way of doing cargo track construction in Transport Fever 2. You definitely want to watch this, it's very clever.